Now tell me, have you ever experienced a situation where you have been to an exotic place and you have enjoyed an exotic dish, and every time you go to that place, you enjoy a new exotic dish, but unfortunately, every time you have to go and pick it up yourself because you do not know the name of that dish. The same is the case with the stock market and the derivative market. Some people are quite good at earning profit. They know what they are doing, but unfortunately, they are not able to converse with others or express their opinion because they do not know the terminology of what they are doing or what words to use at which place. In this lesson, I shall try to list out some important terminologies associated with the future trades. I shall not be explaining them. The meaning of these terminology or their flavor we shall see in the next lesson. But for now, let us at least list them out so that we know what we are looking at. Alright? The first is the spot price, the future price, and the last traded price. Then we have something called as the lot size and the market size or the market lot, and then the contract value. Then we have something called as contract cycle or expiration or the expiry date. Now these things we have already discussed in brief when we were discussing the live future trade, all right? But in more detail and in a more elaborate manner, I shall explain to you little later. Then we have something called as going long or a long position. Like I can say that I have taken long position in 3 different contracts, or I have gone long in 3 different contracts, and then I have gone short in another 2 contracts, or I have taken a short position in another 2 contracts. All right. Then something called as contango and backwardation. Don't worry, just remember the names, what they mean, what is their flavor, where they are used, how they are used. All these things I will explain to you in subsequent lectures. All right. Then there is something called as arbitration and then squaring off. At times, if you remember in the last previous 2 lessons, I have said that when I was in adequate profit of about 54,000, then I had to square off my position. Sometime one may say that I could not afford to pay additional margin, so I had to square off my position. Now, what is this square off? We will see later. There's something called as long unwinding. They say that the market is coming down because of long unwinding, or there is a spurt in the price of the stocks because of short covering. All these things we will see. Then there is something called as a breakout or breakout rally, and then a false breakout or a fake breakout. You may have heard people saying that I took position in a particular contract thinking that it was a breakout, but unfortunately I sustained a loss because it was a false breakout or it was a fake out. Alright. Then there is something called as whipsaw. Again, you may have heard people saying that I was doing well, but suddenly I sustained a loss because of a whipsaw. Then limit order, market order, and stop loss order. These are the different types of orders, how they are placed, what is their significance. Again, we will see little later. All right. Then something called a spot market and the cash market. We have already discussed this, nothing great, but we will again touch upon it. Then something called as derivative market. A spot market and derivative market are 2 different things. They are on the same stock exchange, of course. And then something called as settlement, delivery, and cash settlement. When you trade or when you purchase shares, then you have to do delivery or the physical delivery. But when you are trading in derivatives or in futures, then you go for cash settlement. What is the difference? What is it? We will see later. All right. Then something called as sign off. So all these things, these are some of the important terminologies which I have listed out here. As we move along, if we come across any more terminologies, I will explain to you at that time. All right. So for now, I think it will be adequate for this lesson just to remember the names and their meaning, their flavor, all these things we will see in the next lesson. All right.